We heard in the news, and it was good news yesterday, that the sequester budget cuts at the federal level, which had threatened to reduce Border Patrol agents' pay by something like 40% when you counted up the cut in overtime and the furlough days, and to leave us basically without a lot of protection along the border that we've been used to. Shawn Moran was on a couple of times talking about this, and the good news yesterday was DHS canceled all of that. Well, maybe postponed. Shawn, what's the story?
Yeah, as of right now, it's postponed, but we're not sure exactly what they're going to do because they haven't told anybody yet.
Always nice to know. Just for planning purposes.
Yeah, it leaves 17,000 non-supervisory agents in limbo, and even actually some supervisors that receive this same type of pay. So it really shows how much they value their employees to just leave them hanging like this for so long.
Now, they did get an appropriations bill through September 30, and I guess they're relying on that, saying, well, at least till September 30, we probably are going to be okay with the staffing and hours we have now. But are you getting that yet?
We're hearing all sorts of different things, possible reductions in the number of AUO hours, furloughs, maybe not, maybe so. We just haven't gotten definitive word. Nobody seems to want to make a decision. We have an acting deputy commissioner who is a former customs legacy manager and just won't make a decision. Obviously doesn't understand the Border Patrol. This was his memo that deauthorized AUO as of April 7th. That's been postponed.
That's the overtime.
Correct. That's the overtime, and that's what's going to impact the staffing levels.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
So you don't know.
And I don't trust them to do the right thing. They've shown their willingness to cut the staffing on the border. So I don't trust them to follow up and do the correct thing.
You famously told your agents that they ought to think about getting out of the agency as a result of some of this uncertainty and failure of leadership, and who knows what's going to happen with these cuts. Are people taking your advice?
I've had a lot of agents tell me that they're going to go back to local law enforcement or state law enforcement where the pay might not be as much, but the stability is there. And that's what federal jobs have been known for, is the stability. And, I don't blame them. I'm too old and been in this agency too long to leave. But believe me, if I could, I would.
All right. Now, on top of that, of course, big change is coming. Congress is debating the comprehensive immigration reform. We've been through this a couple of times in the 2000s, but Chuck Schumer, who's the head of the New York Senator, U.S. Senator, who's the head of the Gang of Eight, which is meeting to try to thrash through this thing, sounded some very familiar notes the other night on Meet the Press. Watch this.
Be allowed. So look, we've come to a basic agreement, which is that first people will be legalized, in other words, not citizens, but they'll be allowed to work, come out of the shadows, travel. Then we will make sure the border is secure, and we have specific metrics that are in the bill. I'm not going to get into what they are, to make sure that that happens. And after that happens, there's a path to citizenship, and I think there's agreement among the eight on all of us, and I think most of the American people agree with that.
Let's just parse that for a minute, because he made a remarkable admission, and Chuck Todd didn't get it. First, the people will be legalized. Then we'll secure the border. What does that sound like to you as a Border Patrol agent?
It sounds like we're going to be in for a lot of work, because anytime we start talking about immigration reform or amnesty, people start coming here because they want to get in on it. They want to be a part of any legalization that's going to take place. And our agents are always the ones that have to deal with the increase. We saw it with the sequestration. Just the thought that there was going to be staffing cuts. We've already seen increases here in San Diego sector and along the Southwest.
Last time you were here, you were talking about San Ysidro, where a dozen or so, maybe a day, would come across, and they were getting 100 instead of a dozen.
Right, and we're seeing that in sectors all along the Southwest border. Increased amount of drug smuggling, increased amount of illegal aliens crossing the border.
Congressman Jason Chaffetz of Utah was down at the border doing his own inspection of this thing. He's concerned about this issue as well. And he came up with some photos. I think we have a photo of the border here that told him that there was really no fence. Here's, in fact, he tweeted this out. Here's Jason Chaffetz's tweet from yesterday. No fence on this part of the border. It's a walkway and stairs. And I think we have a picture of the walkway and the stairs with the kind of I think we had that picture already there. There's another picture which shows a walkway, and look at this. There's a railing, for crying out loud. I mean, that's the border. Does the border look secure to you, Shawn?
No, it doesn't. And there's areas of the border that are still 3 strands of barbed wire. Here in San Diego sector, we've had sections that have fallen down, and they've been allowed to just lay there for years. It's gotten better. There's more infrastructure, but the fence isn't the magic bullet for this. It's a speed bump. You build a 20-foot fence, they're going to build a 21-foot
What's
ladder.
the silver bullet then?
Going after the employers. That's what's going to stop illegal immigration.
Mandatory E-Verify.
E-Verify, you need some high-profile cases, really punish some people for hiring illegal aliens, and I think
Take away the magnet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
But
remember
we're not willing to do that.
I remember when we didn't have illegal aliens and we didn't have a fence, right? Oh, I said illegal aliens. I'm supposed to say, what am I supposed to say now? Unauthorized, present, but wonderful people in our society that are just trying to get jobs. I think that was the phrase AP was using. I'm not going to use it. What's the phrase in the law?
Illegal alien.
Illegal alien, that's the one we're going to use. How much time do we have? I'm sorry, you're waving at me. Oh, good. Okay, now, Chaffetz had another tweet, had another tweet to Congressman Chaffetz, and here it is. What do you even say about this? He's there at the border, this is a congressman, and on that miscellaneous day when he's there, 9 Romanians crossed the border. What's your reaction to that, Shawn?
It's not uncommon. We catch people from all over. I know some Romanians were recently caught in San Diego. The threat is still out there. People are still trying to break into this country. And if we cut the staffing of Border Patrol agents, these people will get past us and do whatever their motive is for coming here. They're going to come here and do that.
Romania is not a great, I'm sure, great country, but they have an economy. It's growing. How in the world does somebody afford in Romania who needs a job and can't get one there to come all? I mean, I can understand walking, from Guadalajara or whatever up to the border, but what about Romania? How in the world do you guys ever talk to them about what are they doing here? Why would they go to that expense and trouble?
One of the things we do when we catch people, from countries other than Mexico, Mexico is pretty routine and there's procedures in place to process them. But one of the things is we find out what their route of travel was and how they got here so that we can try and identify smuggling organizations and prosecute them.
Can't be just for picking strawberries.
No, and to come from a place like Romania, it's going to take some big dollars to get here. And a lot of times it's like indentured servitude. You pay the smuggler by paying him off over the course of years.